the money coach and author of Bounce Back, Lynette Khalfani-Cox. Good morning to you. You chuckled a little bit. I love it, the money coach.
I love that too. Hey, everybody needs a money coach, I feel like, you know? So,
yes, that's very important, especially after the holidays. So let's get right into it. What are some tips that you can give us?
Right. Well, we know that unfortunately a lot of folks have a tremendous amount of debt, and this is going to be one of people's biggest financial resolutions going into 2024. So one of the things that I tell people to do right off the bat, if you're struggling with debt, is ask for help. You know, a lot of times people feel like, oh, I got myself into this mess, I can get myself out of it. No, you probably can't on your own. So you should reach out. Maybe you need budgeting help, credit counseling, a debt management service, some kind of a help to get you started and get you on the way to jumpstart things. That's the first step.
And you have experience with these, right? They're
Yes.
tried and tested. You got yourself out of debt.
I did indeed. Sometimes it sounds so horrible to say, and people are like, what? You know.
No, it's good. That's an accomplishment to do that.
So, you know, back in 2003, I had, well, really from 2001 through 2003, I had $100,000 in credit card debt alone. And yes, I know. See, you're giving me that look. No, you're judging me. I know
I'm not judging.
She judges
You're
all
on the
of us.
other end. So
I totally made it to the other side.
Exactly.
I totally made it to the other side. But I did. I paid it all off in 3 years. I never missed a single payment. I wrote a book about it called Zero Debt. It became a New York Times bestseller. I'm obviously hoping that Bounce Back also becomes a New York Times bestseller. But I'm really sharing with people not only the strategies and what I use to get out of debt myself, but also to tackle a whole bunch of other things. Things like damaged credit, how to bounce back from natural disasters, how to make sure that if you have a disability or a disease, it doesn't wreck your finances, that kind of stuff. So, but on the debt front, you know, beyond just doing things like asking for help, there are other strategies, of course, too. You can negotiate with your creditors. Now, a lot of people don't think that they can, but they can.
Exactly, that's true.
Yeah, for sure. You have more leverage than you think. And depending on the type of debt that you owe, credit card debt, student loan, mortgage, et cetera, you might get a loan forbearance, a workout plan, installment agreement, change your due dates, lower your interest rates. All of those things can help. And you got to kind of know some of your options and work those options, right? So just knowing what options exist, whether there's a payment plan, an income-based plan, those kind of things help as well.
How neat is it when you're able to look back, and you just sort of touched on everything you went through, to now be here and, you know, be an author and be promoting your book? I mean, talk to us about that.
It's really been quite a journey for me. And I tell people, sometimes people are like, oh my God, Lynette, how did you even survive?
Right.
I talk about 10 so-called dreaded Ds, like downsizing, divorce, death of a loved one, debt, damaged credit, and so forth, and bounce back. And I tell people, listen, I've been through 9 of these 10 dreaded Ds and lived to tell the tale, to survive and thrive, and to do very well for myself. I went from having, you know, 6 figures worth of debt to having a 7-figure net worth. So I'm always telling people it's possible. You can do this. You can bounce back, not only financially, but emotionally as well. Because I'll tell you, a lot of times the stuff that we go through in life, and I'm just, you know, keeping 100, as they say, I'm just being honest.
Yes.
It's emotionally taxing. You feel like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? Why did I make this mistake? So we beat ourselves up. So in this book, I not only give people financial strategies, you know, telling them use those windfalls that you get if you get a tax refund check, for example, and pay off some of your credit card debt. But I'm also talking to them about the emotional side of it and how you can counter things, because you might self-sabotage unknowingly, or you might not do things that can help you, like practicing self-care, having connections, reaching out for support when you need it, and so on.
But now you're battle tested.
Yes, tried and true. I tell you, I've been through the fire, you know. But it's not just, honestly, it's not just me. In the book, I share the stories of countless other people. And some of these stories are phenomenal. I interviewed a guy named Chris Powell who was disabled, quadriplegic, literally first 22 years of his life in a wheelchair. This guy taught himself how to walk again and ultimately run, how to do marathon. I mean, incredible. He's a college professor. So a lot of people, I'm not the only person who's been through some stuff, okay? So I'm telling, the book is told through stories. So it's a way that I hope people can connect with and, you know, hopefully get a little inspired by as well, and learn the practical and tactical steps along the way too.
It's just such an inspirational story because you have lived it.
Yeah.
And when you say, I was not judging, believe me, I was not judging. You said
No, I know.
$100,000. I
Yeah.
said, wow, because some people may have less than that and still feel embarrassed.
Right, and it's all relative because honestly, each person, depending on your income, how much assets you have, your whatever you have going on,
Maybe some
how
bad
many
decisions.
kids, right, exactly, you know. And I used to think, honestly, to be honest, I used to think that people who were in debt were just poor money managers or overspenders. And I readily admit that I fell into the camp of being an overspender. Spending on my kids, travel, buying stuff I didn't need. That was my case. But honestly, for most folks, research from the Pew Research Center, 80% of Americans owe somebody something. They're in debt. But a lot of it is because they've fallen victim to circumstances in their life. The dreaded D's that I mentioned. They got a pink slip and were laid off. They went through a natural disaster. And everybody here in Houston certainly knows about natural disasters and hurricanes and things of that nature. They went through a divorce. Somebody in the family got sick. So they had setbacks. They had personal challenges. And these are not moral failings. This is just life that we all go through. So I talk about how do you survive that change and that transition? What do you do to get to the other side?
All right, and where can we find this book?
It's everywhere. So Bounce Back is, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, on my website, on AskTheMoneyCoach.com, on my personal site, LynetteKalfaniCox.com, everywhere, and I'm on social media, everything you can think about as well. And we're, promoting and telling everybody, anybody who wants to have a reset in 2024, I think Bounce Back is a great way to do it.
Yep, it's time to bounce back for sure. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
everyone.
I appreciate that so much.
This is really incredible. January 1st, that's
Yes,
the day?
Yep, the pre-orders are taken right now. Amazon is getting flooded with
2024,
orders.
here we come.
There we go. That's right. Yes, indeed.
All right. Thank you so much to the Money Coach.
Yes.
I love that.
All right.